I am partaking in the Big Life Series trip because ever since I've come into college, representation has been such a big part of my collegiate career within athletics, academics, socially.
Y'all head to this table right here to get credentials and hotel room and key.
Being a swimmer has just been such a big and impactful journey so far. I started swimming when I was 12 years old, so a little bit late in the game to sports, as a lot of swimmers begin the sport when they're 2, 3 years old.
An Ohio State sophomore, Nyah Funderburke.
I would say, especially on a very high competitive level, collegiately and professionally, it's kind of like a handpick of other black men and women that I see on the pool deck or in competition.
A final 100-yard backstroke. Halfway through.
There have been experiences and challenges that I've faced within my swimming career that could have deterred me away from the water, but I kind of gave way to those restrictions and those challenges and really lived up and over them in terms of competition. And people see a black girl join swimming late in the game and then they see that she's beating other people.
But it's Nyah Funderburke for Ohio State, another Buckeye win, this time in the 100.
Swimming in the water also ties into the civil rights movement. There was an incident where African Americans would be at their local pool and white people would just come up and pour acid in the water. That picture has honestly stuck within my head. The facial expressions, the tone, like I can only imagine the screams of the acid hitting the skin of my fellow African American men and women. So I can only imagine what the experience was like firsthand.
People were being beaten down to the ground as if they weren't human beings. The dogs and the horses pushed their way into the crowd, just trampling over people. And as I had begun to run, I could see people falling.
I would definitely say that hearing the firsthand experiences of some of the women who talked about marching across the Edmund Pettus Bridge was really something that will definitely stick within me. Busing down here, other athletes and I, we had a conversation and we were like, wow, like this is kind of unreal that we're going to be walking the same path, walking the same footsteps, breathing the same air as our fellow brothers and sisters who were beaten, all to be considered a reasonable and whole human.
Hey, listen. When I say big, y'all say life. Big. Life. Big. Life. Yes, sir.
I am so excited to learn more and gain more insight on the civil rights movement through a more so firsthand experience. You know, there's only so much that the teachers can teach us in history class or African American studies class, but actually being able to physically come here and experience the trip alone, but with other like-minded athletes to really push and apply this history to things going forward.
Nyah. I'm Maya. Maya? Okay, cool. Good to remember. Easy to remember.
So my last name, I think it's German.
Look at this. Great defensive play by Skelton. Funderburke.
My father, Lawrence Funderburke, played basketball at Ohio State. Well, Indiana first, transferred to Ohio State University.
Funderburke on the drive and scores.
They won their Big Ten championship in 1992. Then he went on to play in the NBA for the Sacramento Kings and Chicago Bulls.
No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace.
My grandparents lived through the era of civil rights up north. They shared their personal experiences and stories with me going through those moments, and to be able to come back to the location where everything took place and happened and where we really gained our rights, and to go back to Ohio and share with them my experience. Is just a continuation of the generational stories to pass down.
What you think of it?
The trip?
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good.
A lot of stuff to process.
There was a lot to take in, obviously, with my eyes, but I kind of wanted to translate that into words into my notebook.
The fact that they like show or describe like what they were doing when the bomb went off, that's just so sad. And this little boy.
I wanted to focus on the different types of emotions that I knew going into I would feel, documenting those along with the information and history within the museum. I've learned a lot about the history of certain individuals, whether it be Martin Luther King Jr., Rosa Parks, or even those hidden figures that we don't really hear about, but went through the torment and the excruciating racism based on the color of their skin, and tying it together to nowadays.
The guy who did it, they were having a Bible study and they were being very like inclusive with him, kind of treating him as, yeah, they were his own. And he said he almost didn't do it because of how just genuinely sweet and inclusive they were treating him.
Knowing that we've still got a lot of work to do. Us being the young generation, we have a lot of power and influence that we can exert on society.
Well, what can you do about it?
What can I do about it? Number one, bring the information and guidance and firsthand experience that I've learned from this trip back to my fellow teammates and the organization that I'm a part of locally, and then hoping to expand that within other cities, just as other student athletes from this trip are going to do. That can really change the game.